First of all, most people don't realize how long it takes to learn a language. Hi there, this is Steve Kaufman from Palm Springs. Today I'm going to talk about problems people have in language learning. Remember, if you enjoy these videos, please subscribe. And click on the bell for notifications. And if you follow me on a podcast service, please leave a review. So, first of all, why am I talking about problems? Because my whole filming setup is giving me nothing but problems. Last video, I had this reflection on those prints that I have in behind me. The time before that, I filmed in front of the curtain, which didn't look very nice. I've ordered some hanging sort of backdrops, but I haven't figured out how to pin them up yet, and then it'll at least look like some fake bookshelves. Or I guess another one that's fake wooden planks. But then I've ordered a little skinny bar so that my wife can sew a little thing and we can hang it up there. And then the lighting is all messed up and it's not working, and my Filmic Pro is giving me problems. So I just got fed up with it all my problems. And I said, I'm just going to go out in the garden and do it. And I'm going to talk about problems, language learning problems. What are the main problems that I see amongst language learners? I'm going to try to center myself here again, problems. First of all, most people don't realize how long it takes to learn a language. So people get frustrated. They get particularly frustrated when they get to that first level where all of a sudden they know a bunch of words and they realize just how little they know of the whole language. And people get frustrated and they have the sense that they're not progressing. And maybe they think that everyone else is learning and I'm not learning. And I think that's where it's so important to realize, A, that it's a long process, and B, that you have to find a way of doing it that is enjoyable. So I don't worry about the fact that I've been at Arabic and Persian for a long time, and there are other people who learn faster than me. I'm enjoying it. I was listening to my Egyptian Arabic mini stories that have been now re-recorded by Adel of Alexandria, and I was going through the texts again. And it's fun. I enjoy it. And I know that trickle, I'm improving. So the first thing I find is a lot of people don't have the patience. Second problem is a lot of people, and I find this myself too, so I'm doing the mini stories, Adel's mini stories, and I've gone through 2 or 3 of them. It's not like instantly I've done something, like I've built something or I've made something happen. I'm just doing this. And I have to remind myself that it is actually slowly the language is trickling into me. So don't worry about doing something else. Continue doing what you're doing. And do as much of it as you want. If you do 15 minutes, that's good. If you do half an hour is good. You don't have to say, I have to do 2 hours a day. Every little bit helps. So I think that's an important part of making sure that the time you spent with the language, you don't begrudge yourself that time. You're happy doing it. And if it's 10 minutes, 20 minutes, half an hour, 2 hours, it's all good. Third problem people have with language learning is they don't like to make mistakes, and therefore they are intimidated. So, I always stress input, but of course we all want to speak. Most people want to speak. And we want to speak with as few mistakes as possible, of course. However, I like speaking with mistakes. Not that I don't want to improve, but I know that if I speak with mistakes, I'm speaking. And I had a conversation this morning in German. I made so many mistakes. It's been so long since I spoke German, and I speak it so seldom. And yet, in that conversation, I was getting feedback. I was getting input. We were communicating. If I were to do that more, my German would improve, not only because I'm speaking, but also because I'm getting input back. And so mistakes are a good thing. Mistakes are not a bad thing. Unfortunately, too often the traditional language teaching, instructional method teaches us to be afraid of mistakes. Well, there's nothing wrong with mistakes. It's not like we're building a bridge that we might design it wrong and the bridge is going to collapse. It's not like that. If we're communicating, we're already achieving the main goal. And if we want to improve, but we're not afraid to make mistakes, that's the ideal attitude to have. So, you're speaking with mistakes. It doesn't bother you to speak with mistakes. The other person isn't judging you, but at the same time, you're listening to what they're saying, you're listening to how the language is used, you're continuing your input activities, and so you therefore are gradually improving. So I think those would be three major problems that language learners face. In other words, they don't realize that it's a long process. Number two, they sometimes begrudge themselves the time they're spending with it. Three, they're afraid of making mistakes. And I guess the fourth one, which kind of summarizes all those three, is they're not finding ways to enjoy the process. They shouldn't be measuring how well they're doing. They should be saying, wow, I'm enjoying what I'm doing. And so however you do that, because you choose content that you like or activities that you like, if the emphasis is placed on enjoying the process, you will gradually improve. So just a brief chat. And I realize too, and it makes me happy that many people use my videos to work on their English. So I try to speak as clearly as possible. Okay, thanks for listening. Bye for now.